What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. All right, so today we have the 4Runner back in here, and we're going to be doing pretty much the driveline service, pretty much your four-wheel drive system service. Now, I'm not doing the transmission, but I am doing the front differential, the transfer case, and the rear differential. The noise you're going to hear is because of the fan, because it's freezing cold outside right now. It's like 30 degrees. Well, that's not freezing, but it's cold. So I got my fan going, my heater up there. Love that thing. I tried to put a link in the description for that before, and for some reason I can't find it anymore. I bought it from a Home Depot 6 years ago, but it's been working ever since, and it heats this place up pretty good. Anyways, back to the point of this. So 3 years ago I bought this car, or 2.5 years ago, somewhere around that time frame. And basically, when I first bought it, I did everything. Changed the fluids, I did the transmission fluid, and I half-ass did the transfer case differential service. I did the rear differential and the transfer case, and that's about it. And I used the cheapest oil possible at the time. I just went to one of these guys, I think O'Reilly's or whatever, and bought the cheapest things they had. It's been fine. It's gear oil. A lot of people say it's gear oil, but I decided to actually up it. I'm gonna keep the car a lot longer. Of course, I've already had it for 2.5 years. I decided I'm gonna keep the car. I wanted to at least try to hit 300,000 miles on this. It's at 186,000 right now, or 188,000. And I wanted to at least hit 300,000 miles. I wanna see if these 4Runners are what they're meant to do, or actually what people talk about them. Some of them are hitting 500,000. So what I'm gonna be doing again is the driveline service. We're getting into winter. We're still in the beginnings of December. Winter's at the end of December, but I wanna make sure this car lasts a while. I'm also gonna have like a frame repair video and pretty much frame, I guess you could get set up. I'm gonna get the frame ready for winter. The frame has some rot on there. I'm gonna have that video out soon as well, once I finish the front coating and everything else. But that's another video again. I'll have that video out soon for this 4Runner, for anybody that wants to know if these frames can be repaired. That's a touchy subject for some people, so we'll talk about that in the next video. Anyways, let's go ahead and get started on this. I'm gonna show you what you guys need to actually do this service and how easy it actually is. So here are the tools you're going to need. A 10mm Allen. This is going to be for the front differential. 24mm socket, and this is going to be for the transfer case and the rear differential. A 3/8 ratchet or a 1/2" ratchet. You'll probably need a breaker bar depending if you have some rust on there. You're gonna need some penetrating oil for the rust. Some brake clean. This is gonna be to get any excess oil when you drain these. And of course, your 75W90 gear oil. Now I'm using AMSOIL, which is basically what I decided to buy this time. Again, I am gonna protect this car pretty good, and this is one. You're also gonna need the washers for each one of the drain plugs and fill plugs. You can get this from Toyota or you can get it on Amazon. I'll have a link for these in the description below. You can click on that link and get the washers. I'll also have a link for the oil down on the description below. Before we start this, make sure that the car is it's leveled. You want to make sure that it's not up on an angle this way or up this way. You want to make sure it's level, either on a flat ground. I have it pretty much on 4 ramps. So it's lifted up on 4 ramps. This will make it easier for me to access everything underneath the car. You really sometimes don't even need to lift this. You can probably get it from underneath, but it's got to be completely leveled before you do this job. Make sure it's not jacked up on the front or anything like that, because then you can't get the right amount of oil back in there, because of course the oil will go towards the back of whichever way the car is jacked up on. So that's one thing that I would say, is make sure that this whole thing, this car is completely leveled before you do this. All right, so let's start off on the front differential. We're gonna work our way from the front to the back. Now I already sprayed every one of the fill plugs and drain plugs with penetrating oil, just in case it basically you have all this rust. Now, when you're sitting this Allen key in there, make sure that you set it properly and it doesn't move that much. So if you have to tap it in lightly with a hammer, go ahead and do it. Just make sure it's sitting properly. You don't want to damage your tool or damage the actual plug, because then you won't be able to get it out. So loosen up the fill plug first. Once you get that broken free, go ahead and do the drain plug and let the oil drain out. While the oil drains out, go ahead and replace the washers. Now this is gonna take 1.5 quarts of fluid. So you're gonna take one of the packs. Now these easy packs are very easy. You don't need any pumps or anything like that. These things could just put it right into the fill plug or into the fill hole and just squeeze them in there. Very easy, that's why I love these things. Once you do that, once you see it start coming out again, just dribbling out, go ahead and you are done with this one. Clean off any excess oil that you left on the differential and move on to the transfer case. The transfer case, we're gonna use a 24 millimeter. And go ahead again, fill plug first, then drain plug. While everything drains, replace the washers on the plugs. Clean off any debris on the drain plug that you may have on there. And also inspect them for any big chunks. Any big chunks would mean you have some either bearing failure or something else going on inside of there. Then we're gonna go ahead and put in our drain plug back in and fill it out. This one again takes 3.3 quarts. So you still have some of the other quarts from the front diff left. Go ahead and use that up. Again, just until it leaks out again, and then you are done. And then we're gonna go to the rear differential. Same thing, 24 millimeter. Loosen up the drain plug or the fill plug first. Then the drain plug. Replace your washers. And then fill them back up. Okay, so now that we're done with the driveline service, let's go ahead and go drive this thing. Now, what a driveline service is, it's gonna extend the life of your, of course, your transfer case, your differentials. And basically, especially with this AMSOIL, I've heard a lot of good things about AMSOIL gear oil. And it actually, I've heard that it quiets things down if they're noisy. Now again, if you're inspecting these drain plugs, if you see chunks of metal in there, you probably have a bigger problem already. At that point, it's either service it, replace it probably soon. You can, of course, still do the service to see it maybe prolong it a little bit more, but you're more likely to have bigger problems already if you have these big chunks of it. You should have some metal in it, but it should be small, little, it should look almost like gray paint, almost something like that. It shouldn't be big chunks of metal on that plug, on that and a magnet. So if you have that big chunks of metal, then you have more problems already than normal. But this is gonna help prolong the life. This also kind of helps to give you better gas mileage. Now, I'm not gonna tell you you're gonna get, 40 miles a gallon or 30 miles a gallon, but you'll get a little bit better gas mileage because you're lubing all this off. It's basically less friction, and AMSOIL is, again, I've seen enough videos and I've done enough research that this oil is gonna be a lot better than just going with a regular Mobil 1. There are actual tests out there that people have done where they freeze the oil and AMSOIL flows a lot better and sticks to components a lot better as well. So with that being said, that is it for this video. We did the driveline service on the 4Runner. And the next video, like I said, I will talk about the frame on this car. And that is a touchy subject with a lot of people. So I hope you guys did enjoy this video. If you did, go ahead and hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you on my next video. Peace.